section, which is still part of that first section, Rick. I guess it was entitled Other Recommendations, so I think if we could get to probably page 12, that would get us through that first requirement, first bullet.
Okay. Go ahead.
But if you want to interject now.
No, just to throw out there, and we can see how it goes, because really nothing mentioned about public transportation, specifically our train station, which I think is a real asset in our community to have. And I know that, probably for most of you, I know for me, in how I viewed certain applications near the train station, it affected my decision on how that development might be done. Certainly the Honeywell is one of those, but even smaller scales like that little brownstones, higher density development. So it's just something to keep in mind. I think as a community, we want to build up perhaps the opportunity around that train station, some way that benefits the community as a whole.
What we've done on the township committee, Ms. Johnson and myself, was especially to increase the number of parking spaces there. We have a plan for the future, hopefully to continue to do that. Very, very important that all of our people have a place to park. I'm not that concerned about out-of-town people, but I want to make sure everybody from the township has a place to park.
Don't we also have, even though it's not extensive, we also have some bus service too, don't we? Is it the Colonial, whatever it's called? We're not involved in that?
Are we involved in that anymore, the Colonial Coach?
I thought we were, but I could be wrong.
I just remember years ago, we were contributing funds, towards that, but I'd have to double check on that, so
I think we are involved in a minor way, but I don't remember.
Well, the reason I bring it up, is just to this notion of public transportation. If there's a way for us to move some cars off the roads, maybe exploration of other options should be something that's top of mind for us.
I might comment, also in support of what Mr. Hahn just said, there's a pinch point on Quarry Road where there's the rail bridge, and the development is going on in Hanover. It could potentially go on to the Colgate site. That it's like trying to thread a needle. It's very narrow. It's very old. It's of concern. So I think in any goal that we add along the lines of public transportation, that probably needs to be addressed in some way.
And as we get into things further, I don't know if we'll get that far tonight, but that is something that's been specifically mentioned in the previous re-exam, as one of the problem areas that needs to be addressed. It's difficult, to replace those bridges because they have to stay active, with the rail line and stuff like that, but, it is something that's on our list.
But that one's also deteriorating.
Yes, you're right.
You can see it every time you go by. There's another piece of concrete.
That's because someone's hitting it.
I actually had some recent contact on a different issue with someone in engineering with New Jersey Transit, so it probably would hurt to put a bug in his ear on that, to squeak the wheel gets greasy.
That'd be good.
Now a question to ask you as you deliberate. It seems to me is with these master plans, they foster growth, make it easy to grow, anything. And do you ever consider, hey, let's keep it the way it is, let's master plan, run a master plan that, makes it difficult to grow any further because we like it the way it is.
Well, I don't think every master plan says grow, 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 quite frankly.
Well, it seems to make it easy.
And
so
in fact, this
forces
last
growth.
re-examination wasn't about grow, grow, grow.
Yeah, but as you make it easy, it tends to grow.
No, I think the whole issue of what the policy should be in terms of how much growth and where and what densities and what land uses is really left to the board and a re-examination report if you feel appropriate that there should be no growth or limited growth or a lot of growth, that's your discretion as board members to basically make that policy determination.
Okay.
I've seen plenty of reexaminations that said, we're at capacity, you know, we have no vacant land, we're not interested in changes in our land use pattern, so everything's hunky-dory. So that's your right to determine that. They're not necessarily, you know, pro-growth documents. Okay, so back to page 9. And this is coming under other recommendations from the 2001. And then the first bullet is all about COA and Mount Laurel, and that's a whole separate discussion that we'll deal with. I do like the on the top of page 10, the last sentence of this, it says, no one knows at this time what these changes will involve. Talking about COA.
That remains true.
Exactly right.
It remains true.
Exactly right.
Very prescient, right?
Okay, the first bullet on the top of page 10, this had to do with the township's open space acquisition and working with the Morris Land Conservancy. Jim, you'd indicated, my notes indicate when we met at the TCC, you'd indicated that the township was not or had not recently been working with Morris Land Conservancy?
No, that's correct. We
Okay.
had some issues, you know, with them, we just kind of got away from them.
Okay.
And, you know, so I was gonna look at, you know, updating that paragraph. You know, and specifically, you know, we need to update our list on all the parcels that have been purchased as open space. And as we get further into plan, you know, we'll see that list, but, you know, there's a lot that's happened over the last, you know, 10 years as far as open space goes. So I was gonna work with, the Open Space Committee. I actually did get their, the recommendations back, and then Bill Fulch is heavily involved with the open space and recreation, so we're gonna work together with him, to, update information.
Okay. Then that last paragraph on page 10 is talking about continuing to coordinate with state, county, and regional planning efforts. We talked a little bit about the state of the state development plan. One thing that was mentioned here was the New Jersey Highlands, and obviously the township opted not to participate in the Highlands plan. So the whole issue about what the township is divided in has kind of been mooted by your decision to opt out, at least from a land use standpoint. Page 11.
Just so you know, our page numbers aren't the same.
Oh,
And that we got.
You're starting
Oh, we had this issue with somebody, when we met at TCC, someone had a different page number. It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, we'll do fine, just kind of give us
Okay,
a clue on
it's
what the bullet is about.
Looks like it's the third bullet under other recommendations. A review and update of township's population. Yeah. So we will do this. This is something that we, you know, my office will do an update in terms of population and demographic data, just to see, you know, where you've come since the 2000 census. I think it's worthwhile to know where we've come. So we will do that and give you an update on that.
We actually saw some numbers recently on that, right?
Yeah. I have a question on that, because we have the official 2010 census data, but there also are updated figures as recently as 2015.
Correct.
I don't know that we have any 2016 yet, but.
That's correct.
So would the notion be to use the actual 2010 data and then identify the estimated data that has come in the years since to these?
Yeah, I think what we could do is we definitely update to 2010, and then for those, for that data where there are reliable, because not everything is updated, where there are reliable 2015 estimates, for example, we'll include that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, the second bullet was, you, I guess, had drafted an adopted 2003 of wireless ordinance. That's sort of old news, so we can kind of, we don't need to rehash that.
So it might have been amended since then.
And I have a note about the new
The new regs,
federal
yeah.
regs.
We will include that. There's a section in here about changes in assumptions and policies which go through, that's probably where it belongs, because we list any sort of statutory changes or changes in state regs that affect municipalities. So we should mention that there are the new regs in effect. It's probably about a year or so old, those regs?
Even more than that.
More than that now?
They came out right before the Mount Laurel decision in 2015. I did some memos on them, and then everybody forgot about them for a while because things got, the affordable housing situation got pushed to the forefront. But I have some materials on that as well, the small cells.
Okay.
We're going small now.
Planning board, I'm on the next bullet. Planning board recommended consideration of a number of other ordinance changes, both to the land development and zoning, conflicting provisions due to RSIS, updated checklist, amendments, site plan. Jim, my
Are
notes
there any new
indicate that.
ones? Are there any new ones now on the list that we might be considering? Do you have a list of those, Jim, or?
I know that there's some stuff that's coming out of the Board of Adjustment in regard to parking size, and the planning boards even talked about that too. We see a lot of people requesting variances on the
Well,
size.
there are a couple of things that I think that we should address. The aisle width and the parking stall size issue keeps coming up, and I think we should, bring those standards up to 2017. The other thing that is hanging out there that sort of always bothered me is there's no development standards for the OSGU zone. And it allows uses other than open space. So, applicants come in and it's, well, this makes sense and you as the board have, I think there should be standards. There really should be standards.
Too ambiguous.
Yeah, it's just, so that's another thing. There may be a couple others that we took, we take notes on as we go. But those are the things that jump out. One of the things on the zoning that I think we need to look at is zoning to take another look at your zoning for places of worship. This has become a big issue. There's been, as you probably read, some major litigation on this. And I was involved in one of my communities that basically was challenged in court, and the Justice Department got involved, and I can fill you in on some of the things that you need to do to protect your ordinance from potential challenges. So I could really think that's something important for us to revisit. So that's another thing that I had in my notes.
And Rick, just to answer your question, I have to pull out, I do have a list of things that, just come up over the course of the past year or two that's, becoming kicking the can down the road, so we can incorporate those.
Question. So the zoning issues, would be like the pillars for driveways and stuff like that?
That's one of them that we've been kicking down the road maybe for more than a few years.
5 years?
5 years, who's counting?
We should have Mr. Goss come back and give his presentation on that.
Yeah.
You did a report on that, as I recall.
There's a couple things I know Greg had worked on prior to coming on board.
Yeah, I mean, that even goes back to, when Brian was here, and we did spend a lot of time taking a look at the regulations, both in the fire code, and, there's kind of like a lot of different fire codes that, overlap, and, it was complicated, so look at some other municipalities and what they're doing, and I think we can kind of use some of their stuff to help establish standards, just to make sure that, in particular, the pillar issue, that they're set back far enough that, we can still get emergency vehicles into properties, that sort of stuff. We don't run into too many of those, but when it does come up, it's a problem.